is a great one. So before I mention it really quickly, people have been asking me where they can gather tonight afterwards, because I know I could tell just by the chatter, everyone wants to socialize and network, and so we actually set the spot. Anybody who cares to kind of network afterwards, if you could go to the Up Parasol Bar at the Wynn. A lot of energy today. You may want to gather and have a cocktail and do some chatting. And I'm going to tell you also about the digital health wrap party as well, which I'll talk to you about, getting an invitation to that. So we've had an amazing morning, and some interesting facts. Did you know that according to a recent survey, 8 out of 10 Americans would like to receive health information over a mobile device? Now, I'm one of those 8, so I guess I shouldn't be that astounded. But have you seen some of the latest health-related apps? I lost count. There are apps for counting calories, calculating your BMI, logging your gym workouts. There's apps to monitor your vital signs, apps to learn about medicines. There are apps for quitting smoking, apps for yoga, and that is just the beginning. So with mobile health seemingly exploding, how do we know what's coming next, or how to put it all into perspective? And how do we know if we should trust these devices? Big questions. So we have great speakers to help us make sense of it all, and our moderator for this panel, who's perfect for this, is Brian Dolan, editor at MobiHealthNews. Prior to co-founding MobiHealthNews, Brian was a senior analyst with the Boston-based research firm Yankee Group. There, he led program development for the company's Mobile Internet World event and helped develop industry publication. And there's no better person suited to lead this discussion with an incredible group of speakers. Thank you all.
Thanks, Jill. So it's great to be back at the Digital Health Summit. I remember last year, this week, I was very excited to learn that the Mayo Clinic had just spun off a new company. It was a joint venture with an app developer outfit, and so they saw the opportunity in medical apps to be so great that they needed to create their own company to capitalize on it. So that was really the big news that I led with a year ago. And as Jill noted, this past year, 2010, if you had to pick one macro trend in terms of the big story in mobile health, it really was smartphone medical apps, smartphone health apps, without a doubt. Many more interesting things were going on, but that was the big story. There were some weeks, more than 100 of these apps were launched. It was very difficult, someone who covers this industry on a daily basis, to keep up with it all. And at times, the coverage would skew to these apps just because there were so many coming out. It was a constant news stream. And it's already different this year. It's already different here at CES also. It's not necessarily just about apps anymore. After a few years of waiting, it's starting to be about devices also. Devices that act as peripheral health devices, pairing with mobile phones or with embedded wireless. So now we're starting to see things like blood glucometers pairing with an iPhone. Blood pressure monitors. There were 2 already announced this week, one from Withings and one from iHealth, that pair with iPhones and will be coming to other devices soon, I'm sure. In early 2009, this discussion began with pairing these devices with smartphones. On stage at one of the Apple keynotes, Johnson & Johnson company LifeScan said they had this prototype that would connect a Bluetooth-enabled blood glucose monitor with the iPhone. And they demoed this. The demo itself actually wasn't wireless. They plugged it in. And a lot of fanfare, huge story, one of our biggest stories of 2009. And here we are, 2011, and there is no LifeScan Bluetooth device that pairs with the iPhone. So it really is an important story that it's been that long, and it's really just now that we're starting to see these devices come to market. So there are others also, but I think that it's safe to say then that at least if you take this first week as any indication, if 2010 was all about apps, 2011 is shaping up to be the year of the peripheral devices also. So I'm very curious to see how this trend develops in the next 12 months and see where we're at when we return here next year. So the panel we have here is actually not focused on peripheral devices at all, but I thought it's just important to point that out, being here at CES, consumer-based show, that might be one way to look at this event fitting in with the wider context here. Instead, this panel actually has 3 very simple questions that we need to answer in the next 40 minutes or so. And I'm going to do my best to answer them in the next 15 seconds. So here are the 3 simple questions. Who pays for mobile health? Who regulates mobile health? And is mobile health effective? It's really our mandate for this discussion. And here's my answer based on 2 years of hearing these questions debated. Who pays? It's a mix. Who regulates? Mostly the FDA. And is mobile health effective? Sometimes it is. So that's about it. We're going to expand on those points in the next 40 minutes, but hopefully much more insights from our expert panelists here. But I think that's a good starting ground. We can kind of debate whether or not you think that's true or not, and really a focus not on these higher level questions, but really how have they changed, how have they developed in the past 6 months to a year, and really have a fresh conversation about some of these really core concepts and challenges facing mobile health today. So to my immediate left is our first panelist, Bradley Merrill Thompson. He's a partner in the law firm Epstein, Becker, and Green. Bradley is a shareholder in the law firm. He counsels medical device, drug, combination product, and biotechnology companies on a wide range of FDA regulatory, reimbursement, and clinical trial issues. At the firm, Mr. Thompson leads the medical device regulatory practice, the clinical trials practice, and the connected health practice. And he serves on the firm's Health and Life Sciences Steering Committee. Mr. Thompson has also served as counsel to AdvaMed and the Continua Health Alliance. And he also recently formed in the past year a very important organization for this discussion, the mHealth Regulatory Coalition, which is really working to help the FDA and other regulatory bodies figure out how best to regulate this space. So we're very excited to have Bradley here today. And I'd like to ask him just to have a few minutes of opening remarks to give us a sense of your background and your focus in mobile health today.
Well, I guess I'd like to first maybe expand upon the mHealth Regulatory Coalition, your comment there. The genesis of that was, quite honestly, when investors want to invest in one of these businesses, one of the things that they do is try and figure out from the business plan what it's going to cost. And a major variable in that is, are they going to be regulated by FDA? If they are regulated by FDA, you've got a whole bunch of stuff to deal with. If they're not, you don't. So as a part of the initial business plan, they'll come to me and they'll say, could you look at this technology and could you give us an opinion on whether or not FDA is going to regulate this app or this system? And over the last couple of years, it's been breaking my heart, quite honestly, because they'll come in, they'll describe what it is that they want to do, and based on the law as it's written, meaning not just statutes, but everything that FDA has published, in many cases, my answer had to be, well, it's possible that FDA will regulate it. There's no real precedent for it, but it meets the definition of a medical device, and that's what gives FDA its authority. And so when I'd give that answer, the investor would say, oh, well, rats, and in many cases, pull the plug on the thing. And that was terrible, because a lot of those ideas look to be really good ideas. But in some cases, these are investors who aren't familiar with FDA, so it's a big unknown in addition to being a big cost, which is legitimate, and they wouldn't want to pursue it. So we formed this coalition to try and get an answer to that basic question. What is FDA going to regulate in this space? And the fact of the matter is the statute doesn't answer it. If you look at the statute alone, a lot of what's going on here, a lot of what we're going to talk about today would fall into FDA's purview. FDA has said on a number of occasions that they're not going to enforce the statute literally. That's terrific. But it just doesn't help me figure out what they're going to regulate and what they're not going to regulate. So we formed this coalition. Actually, all three of these companies to my left are members of it. It's 25 or so companies and a number of organizations like the Continua Health Alliance and so forth are all members of it. And hopefully we'll, at some point here, get an answer to that basic question.
Great. Thank you, Bradley. To Bradley's left is our next panelist. Anand Iyer is the president and chief operating officer at WellDoc. So Anand serves as president and COO. He also oversees the deployment of the company's cell phone and web-based diabetes management platform. So it's not just mobile-based, also web. That's important to note. He leads the efforts to integrate WellDoc's solution internationally into mainstream chronic disease management programs. Iyer has more than 20 years of consulting experience. Previously, he served as director partner at PRTM Management Consultants in the firm's communications industry group and led its wireless solutions practice. The bio goes on and on, but I'm going to let you take over from here, Iyer. I know, Anand, I know we have a lot to talk about. And, I guess just, I'd also like to add just that WellDoc, I think, in the past 12 months has really emerged as sort of a poster child for this industry. You've really accomplished a lot and gone through